Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. This is my monthly video on the best new editions of board games coming to retail. We've got games that are in an established line of games, we've got remakes of old games, and we've just got updated editions of games that previously existed. As you can see, I am back at home now. I've been on the road for like 3.5 weeks, and I'm finally back home and squeezing this in right before the end of November. So as always, thanks so much for being here, and I hope you find something that you're excited about. I feel like retail releases always start winding down a little bit before the holidays. So I only have 10 new editions here for you this month, but they are 10 great games that, I think a lot of people will be excited about. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I will be starting my top 10 videos of the year pretty soon. I do 10 different top 10 videos always at the end of every year because I play like over 300 new games. And so, I'm going to be doing my top 10 party games and cooperative games and family games and card games and things like that. And that will all start here pretty soon. So stay tuned and check back in for that. All right, getting into our 10 new editions here in November. Asmodee is releasing Cthulhu Dark Providence. This is a reimplementation of a game from over a decade ago called A Study in Emerald. It plays 1 to 5 players in 90 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game, maybe even a medium plus weight game. This is a game it's called like strategic deduction. So this is a game with hidden roles, but figuring out somebody's role isn't essential to winning the game. You'll be doing a lot of other things, but figuring out their role will help you in your strategy in the game. So players are playing either as cultists or as investigators, and based on what your role is, you will be having different win conditions and scoring points in different ways. But it's not a cooperative game. You are trying to be the single winner. During the game, each players use influence cubes. You put cubes out onto the board to bid for the right to claim various asset cards, to take control of cities, to gather mythos cards, and each new asset card will improve a player's deck. And so, the cards that are in your deck will determine the actions that you can take for the round, for the turn. And then there's an area control aspect where you're putting cubes out on various spots on the board. So, you want to try to keep your identity secret as you go through the game. So you might be faking and feinting to different spots on the board, but you're also going to be trying to sway hired agents to your side, and you're going to be fighting other players' agents and assassinating them. Just a lot of, it's a hidden role game, but a strategy one. A lot of hidden role games are party games. This is not at all. This is a, area control, deck building, influencing other players game. Ape Games is releasing the game Storytailors. This plays 2 to 6 players in 20 to 30 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. This is a family weight game, a game that plays ages 5 and up. So, it's a game that if you have young kids, this might be a good game for them. It is a storytelling game. You are building a narrative throughout the game. So you will be playing story cards into these sort of preset sleeves in a booklet. You have the board essentially is a book, and you will be reading through a story, fantasy types of stories, a knight saving a princess, fairy tale type of stuff that little kids can grasp. And the game aspect, the game part of this game is you will be choosing a creature of an animal from your hand to portray various characters in the story, and then everybody will vote for which which animal they want to be in the story, and hope you want yours to be picked, but you're voting for other things, and then you will slot that animal in, and now that cow is the knight in the story. it's very simple, obviously, if it plays ages 5 and up, and it's all about sort of the narrative of it. You know, do you want this character to be a brave knight or a sad musician, a mischievous witch, or a clumsy ninja? And so you're just building the story and reading off the story as you go. Capstone Games is releasing Sanctuary, an Arc Nova game. There's not a hard and fast rule for which video that I put some of these games in. And Sanctuary is one of those ones where I was like, I don't know, does this count as a new game, or is it sort of a new version of the game Arc Nova? The game is definitely heavily inspired by Arc Nova, but is meant to be a quicker and easier jumping in point to the game of Arc Nova. Sanctuary plays 1 to 5 players in 40 to 120 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. So you'll notice I said 40 to 100 minutes, whereas Arc Nova is more like, maybe a 3-hour game. This one you can probably play in like an hour and a half. So it cuts the play time down. It is thematically the same, where you are building a zoo, and here you're doing it with tiles, not just with cards. There will be tiles in a market, so to speak, that you are choosing from, and then you're putting tiles onto your own player board. And there's a lot of different types of cards. There are animals and projects and buildings, and those things you want certain tiles to be next to other tiles, and certain tiles are going to score you points in various different ways. And so you're just trying to find synergies and combos between the tiles that you play out on your board. So it definitely simplifies the game of Arc Nova. If you are a fan of Arc Nova and you want to get new people into it that might be overwhelmed by Arc Nova, I think this is, a good way to do that. I know that some people who are Arc Nova fans that love that game feel like this game is too simplified for them. But that it is accomplishing what it's trying to accomplish, in that it is largely, similar thematically and stuff to Arc Nova, but wants it to be a easier jumping in point. Chip Theory Games is releasing 20 Strong Tanglewoods. So this is a solo game, a 1-player game, plays in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. The idea of 20 Strong, just as a system as a whole, is that it is a game where you can buy this set of dice, and then they're going to release different decks of cards, and all of those decks of cards can use those set of dice. And you are playing through obstacles, defeating bad guys. You're playing through this deck of cards, and you are using dice strategically as you go along to beat these types of things. And there are various different colored dice, and some of them are stronger, some of them are weaker, and so when do you save the stronger ones for? When do you try to beat something with weaker ones? It is definitely a puzzle of trying to fight through these bad guys, fight through the deck. And they have released a number of decks for 20 Strong. The game launched with a few ones, Solar Sentinels, and a few other ones that are, and each of the decks plays very differently, has different mechanisms, have different, win conditions. It's sort of the same system, but there's different problems to solve in each of the decks. So Tanglewoods here is you can buy, there are 4 decks that you can sort of combine with the dice that you have. There's also a new box with dice in Tanglewoods, so that if you have never gotten any of the other Strong, you could buy this set and play it totally on its own. So this is essentially a new core box, and then it is 4 different Tanglewoods decks. There's red, white, Baba Yaga, and one other one. And again, all of them are sort of fantasy themed games. You know, this is fairy tale sort of, you know, in the world of Tanglewoods, but each of the decks has a different, you know, different bad guys to fight and different obstacles to overcome. And so, yeah, if you want a solo game, you know, Chip Theory does a really good job with all their production, and it looks great. All the artwork is great, but you know, the other nice thing about 20 Strong is that they're all pretty small boxes. So this is a very portable solo game. If you're going on a vacation and you want something to just sort of chill in the airport with or things like that, 20 Strong is good for that reason. Cryptozoic is releasing Food Fight Reheated. This plays 2 to 6 players in 30 to 45 minutes, and it is a lightweight game. Food Fight originally came out in 2011, and this is a re-implementation, sort of a new edition of that older game. So this new edition, what does it do? It keeps much of the same core game flow from the original, but condenses the game down to 3 rounds and pits all players against each other every round, so it's sort of a free-for-all every round instead of just fighting a couple of other people. In the game, in Food Fight and in Food Fight Reheated, players are going to be drafting cards and then putting together an army of troops, essentially, from the cards that they drafted, and then you're going to use them to fight other people. And you're going to be fighting over breakfast, lunch, and dinner, hence the Food Fight theme, and each of the troops are going to get you different powers and combo well with other troops and have synergies with other cards, and you know, so you're just trying to fight other people and win over 3 different battles. So, you know, light card drafting fighting game. Restoration Games is releasing Unmatched Bruce Lee versus Muhammad Ali, or just Unmatched Lee versus Ali. This is a 2-player game, plays in 20 minutes, and it is a lightweight game, though on the upper end of lightweight, I would say. This is a new set in their Unmatched series, Restoration Games' Unmatched series. This series has a ton of different characters, and all of the characters play asymmetrically, have their own asymmetric deck of cards, and you can mix and match them. So if you just have this box, if this is the first box you buy of Unmatched, you can play it 2 players. This is a standalone box in that way. You can play head-to-head. One of you will play as Bruce Lee, and one of you will play as Muhammad Ali. But you can also take the characters from this box and mix and match with all the other characters that have existed in the game of Unmatched. And there are a lot of them at this point. You know, you want to see Muhammad Ali fight a T-Rex, you could do it. That, you know, that will allow you to do it. And so you're moving around the board, playing cards and trying to fight your opponent. It is a head-to-head game. And, you know, it's a fairly easy system to learn and very replayable by, you know, experimenting with the different characters in the game. So yeah, if you're a fan of Unmatched, then those are 2 new characters for you. Restoration Games is also releasing Unmatched Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This plays 1 to 4 players in 20 to 40 minutes, and it is a, you know, on the edge of lightweight to medium weight game. This is the second game in their Unmatched Adventures series, so this is a little bit different than just the regular Unmatched games. This basically takes that system and makes a cooperative game out of it. So now, instead of playing head-to-head against another opponent and trying to fight them, you are working with them to defeat bad guys. This one, thematically, you are playing as the 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know, Raphael, Donatello, Leonardo, and Michelangelo, and you are playing against bad guys like Shredder and Krang and people like that. You will have some allies on your side that you can use to help fight against those, and they're going to have some minions, you know, people like Baxter and things like that. I grew up on Ninja Turtles a bunch, so I'm excited for this one. Yeah, so if you want, and each of the characters will still play fairly differently. You know, you'll have different decks of cards, and you want to use your abilities wisely and combo with your other teammates and things to beat Shredder or Krang here. And you know, and win the day, save New York City from these bad guys. So if you like Unmatched but haven't tried the cooperative version of it, then check out Unmatched Adventures. Rose Gauntlet Entertainment is releasing Keystone North America 2nd Edition. This is a new edition of a game from them that came out in 2022. It has new artwork, new component quality, things like that. It also has, I should say first, it plays 1 to 2 players in 30 to 60 minutes, and it is a medium weight game, but on the lower end of medium weight games, on the lighter end of medium weight. It is 1 to 2 players. If you had 2 boxes of it, you could play 3 to 4 players. You can combine boxes and play more. And so, you know, one of the things that this one does differently than other ones, it also contains a solo or co-op campaign where you will be solving puzzles along the way. In the game, you are drafting various animal cards and placing them on your board, in your grid. And so you are going to get points for having all of the same ecosystem in a grid or column. You're going to get points for having sequential numbers. You know, if I have a 1, 2, 3, 4 here, then that will score. One of the other differences is that in the first edition of the game, you needed to have completely sequential cards in order for them to score. Now you can have gaps, but as long as the numbers increase or decrease, you know, for instance, you could have a 1, 3, 4, and that still scores you points in this version of the game, whereas it wouldn't have scored you points in the original version of the game. The artwork is really, really pretty as well. So if you like wildlife, if you like beautiful nature artwork, then that might be a reason to check out Keystone North America. They also, I mentioned it in my expansions video, but they released the coastal expansion at the same time, so that increases the types of animals you can draft from to a bunch of aquatic and coastal species. Weird City Games is releasing March of the Ants Evolved Edition. This is a new version of a game that came out in 2015 from Weird City Games. Plays 1 to 5 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. There is a decent amount going on in March of the Ants. You will be doing worker placement. It's almost like a 4X game where you are going to be putting out tiles and exploring new places. You're going to be putting out workers to control areas of the board. You're going to be moving workers around to gain resources. There's a lot of different stuff going on. You are in control of an ant nest, and you are competing for success with rival nests. You're going to explore the unknown reaches of the meadow, evolve your ants to create new species, and vie for control of the Great Tunnel. What's some of the differences between this version and the original version? It has new artwork and graphic design. It has revised and updated mechanics, sort of streamlining things, making things clearer. It's got new resting cards and great tunnel battles. It has wooden ant meatballs. And, you know, it's the same, 4X type of feel in 90 minutes. So that's one of the things, a lot of times 4X games are big, long affairs. And this is one that plays pretty quickly, which I like. Wise Wizard Games is releasing Star Realms 10th Anniversary Edition. So Star Realms, congratulations on 10 years. It's one of the most beloved deck building games out there. Plays 2 players sort of head to head, where you'll be drafting cards and fighting your opponent. This is the same game that has won more than, a dozen awards as best games of the year. It's got more than 10 expansions. It's got an app with over 1 million downloads. This has extended artwork in it. It's got a new travel box that allows for sleeved and unsleeved cards, and it's got high quality components. So if you are a fan of Star Realms and you want to celebrate 10 years of it, then check out this anniversary box. So that's what I got for you. Those are 10 new editions of board games coming to retail this month. If you are in the Bay Area, I will be doing my Green Team Wins on the show on the road for the very first time. I've never taken Green Team Wins outside of the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and I will be doing it at Rooster T. Feathers Comedy Club in Sunnyvale, California on Wednesday, December 10th. So I would love to see you there. Thanks so much for subscribing, liking, all that sort of great stuff. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.